Hey guys, Bettimus here, and happy Inktober to all my fellow artists. For those of you who don't know what Inktober is, Inktober happens during the month of October, where artists are encouraged to make art in ink specifically every day of the month, or at least get into some rhythm of creating good art habits. Now, I've been part of Inktober for perhaps the last 2 years, I want to say. And unfortunately, I've never actually seen the month all the way through. I start really strong and then I just kind of fall behind. So to make it easier on myself this year, what I'm going to do instead is make one illustration a week and post a video of it. And because this is a channel about, art and Pokemon, at least that's the plan, I will be basing all my illustrations around Pokemon. Huzzah! So in honor of the spookiest time of year, I am drawing my little persona here as a witch. Her outfit is inspired by Miss Magius and Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo has to be my third favorite Pokemon. I love Miss Magius too, but it's not all the way in the top favorites. We'll be seeing my favorites later on. I didn't notice until during editing that my nails look terrible. I forgot to repaint them, but that's okay. The point of the video is to get an illustration out, not to show off shiny nails. At least not this time. Also, excuse the scar I have on my right. I have cats, and sometimes our playtimes get a little more aggressive. It's cat people problems. This particular illustration went through perhaps 4 different designs, and in the end I did change it up a bit while I was drawing it on paper already. Just because when I started drawing the final version of it, I didn't quite like the composition, so I improvised, and because of that the drawing did end up a little more to the right than I would have initially liked. That's alright. Again, the point is to get a drawing out, start building good habits. I could just cut it up later so that it's evenly placed on the paper. I've looked at the prompt and I kind of take the first 7 days, or I divide it up into 7 days and then just pick one from the prompt. Although I can't say I'll be sticking to the prompt the next couple of weeks. depending on what I have in mind or what the prompt may inspire, or it might even be a combination of a bunch of them. For this one, it was specifically spell. And I just had the idea of this little witch persona with a Miss Magia specifically because of its design. And then I threw a Pumpkaboo in there because Nintendo had only a couple weeks ago, since of this recording, had released their Halloween plushes, and I fell in love with the Pumpkaboo plush, and I really loved its hat inspired by Miss Magia, so I kind of went with it. The design on Pumpkaboo is actually straight out of Nintendo's line, except she's not carrying her witch's broom. I thought it would make the illustration a little too cluttered in that corner. Now while I illustrate, I do switch between my pens through different sizes. At the moment I am using the medium size pen, but I'd have to say my favorite ones are perhaps the small, just because it's great for details, and I really like the brush because you can get some really heavy, thick lines. If any of you are new to art or drawing of any sort, one of the important things to make your illustrations pop is line variant, and that's where the line has different widths. For example, if you take a look at the witch's collar, the line there is very thick, and if you compare it to the lines on her fingers there, they go from thick line to a smaller line. And on the collar of the witch, it's a very small where the details go. It just helps add a little bit of uniqueness to the drawing. Now for this final step, I really wanted to change the color just to add an extra pop. And I went with purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors, although not the most favorite. I just like how it really looks. And when it comes to magic and witches, I usually think purple. Brush pens are excellent for swirls because you can get those different line variants. And voila, take a look. It's almost done. It had a circular design, so I'm trying to add that line. Let's not forget to erase the pencil marks underneath. Finish it up, touch it up. You can see that I go back on some of those thinner lines and add a thickness to it. Again, line variant. It's one of the more fun things to do when it comes to ink. I had to add especially some line variant between Pumpkaboo and Miss Magius just because they were blending in a little bit. And I feel that adding that extra line width helps separate the two. They don't look like one clumped up mess anymore. A little bit of white paint to cover up some of those mistakes. And now my signature to finish off the drawing. Ta-da! Overall, I'm really happy with this. I may paint it later on, I don't know. We'll see. I know it's Inktober, but it looks like it wants to be painted. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will catch you on the next one.